Hey guys, just watching CBAT here in the pre-market. I'm not going to trade it. I've decided not to trade pre-market, and I could talk about why if you'd like, but not in this video. But anyway, I thought this would be cool to just look at some trading patterns if you were to trade pre-market, like what I would look for, and we can kind of like predict live what's going to happen. Now, right now, the only setup here, which is not that good, but because this thing is still above all the indicators, it shows some strength even after this sell-off. Is the breakout of this candle, but honestly, I wouldn't get in on that because notice that the low of this candle is still below here. So the very first setup after watching this, if you think that this thing's going to reverse back around, that I would be comfortable taking is the first candle that the low is higher than the previous one. So you're looking for higher lows, and then I would just watch it to break the high of the pre. So essentially, what I'm saying is, I wouldn't get in on this candle no matter what. And as long as this doesn't break the high of this candle, I can watch the next candle to get in. If it does break the high of this candle, then we kind of missed the move, so to speak. Okay, so now you could watch for the break, let's see, of 346 and get an order ready and try to get in on that. Because notice now the low of this candle so far is obviously higher than this one. So, I would have an order ready for the break of 346. And then let's see, we'll just watch. Okay, so I hit 347, so we're filled. And then I would have my low, my stop would be right here around 317, whatever the low of this. Yeah, 318, so maybe 317 or 318, I guess, to be conservative. So, right now we're in the trade because I said put the order in for the break of this candle, which was 343. So we're just going to watch to see, is this a winning trade or not? And just because that's like a strong setup doesn't mean it's going to win. So that's why you want to have your stop in place if this was intraday, or if you are trading pre-market. What I would do is have a sell limit order already in place up high, so sitting, say put it at $4, and then it's up here on your trade screen. And then, if you want to, you could put in a little line to remind yourself of where you set your stop. If you have time for this. If this thing just like washes right down, you got to get out. So now you've got your mental stop loss line, which I don't like mental stop losses, but that's the only choice you have in the pre-market. You've got that in place, and you're watching the price action play out. You've got a limit order to sell up here around $4, and if this thing flushes down all of a sudden, I would just drag the limit order and try to get out ASAP before it drops any lower, because look what happens, sometimes with these big flush candles, they just go flying, without you, and either you're going to be holding a bag or you're going to take a huge loss. So this thing's starting to run a little bit. So I think we got it around 347. So we're already up like 5 cents a share. And it's a little bit choppy. So, I might even bring, depending on how many shares I have, bring the limit order down and sell for that 5 cent profit. And then, you could maybe look to get back in. But that all depends on like your risk tolerance. Are you willing to hold it and risk this thing flushing down to your stop and leaving with a stop? Leaving with a loss. Or do you want to take what you can get and then look to get in maybe for the break of this candle? So still watching, see what happens. If we were still in it, we're back to kind of like break even, essentially. But I'll tell you that, if I was in this trade right now, I'm not like in love with what's going on here, because, when you buy the break of the previous candle in a stock like this that's trading volatilely, I think that's a word, you're looking for it to kind of pop up right away, which would indicate a lot of buyers and buying and price strength, excuse me, and we're not seeing that. And here comes the flush. So, again, if you didn't take that little 5 cent move, noticing that this thing is not that strong right now, it looks like we're going to hit our stop loss. Once you see something like this start to happen, the chances of it turning around on the same candle are pretty low, because I think people start to get scared and they panic sell. And well, I don't know if you want to call it panic selling, but they just want to sell at a very small loss, keep their losses small and their wins big. So a smart trader will sell. You can even bring that limit order down now and get out before it hits your stop loss, knowing that, man, this thing just does not look strong. If you didn't take that little 5-cent gain, and then wait to get back in it. This is why you don't want to jump in with like half your account or all of your account on one trade, because now you would just be taking a big loss and you can't get back in and make any money. But if you're trading with like 10% or less of your account size, you can take that small loss and then you can wait for a real reversal to happen. So I think that's probably what I would do by now, is just, I don't know. I mean, you never know, and I'm not in the trade, so it's not that realistic. But you could bring that limit sell order down here, sell it, and then maybe wait for the break of this candle. You still have the higher low, so that's good. We probably just, maybe got in a little bit early there. So now let's say you've got a limit order set for the high of this candle, so maybe like 353. So you can't put it in. If you set a limit order for 353 and you press buy right now, you're going to get filled. So if you're trading this pre-market, you have to have the order ready and then watch the price, and then when it does what you want it to, which is break the high of this candle, 353, you'd have to have the price set, say around like 358 or something like that. Give it some room, so that as soon as you see 353 pop up over here as the price moves up, boom, you hit place order, and you hopefully you get sold. Hopefully you get filled at that 353 point or less, if it does a little shake. But at least you've got some room. If this thing really takes off, you're still going to get filled maybe a few cents higher than you wanted to, but if this thing popped, you're still in it. So anyway, I thought that this would be a cool video to share kind of, my thought process on the patterns that I look for and what to buy. And you can either consider this, I guess I would consider it a failed trade, which you have to be willing to accept, because even good patterns like that is technically a decent pattern. The only thing wrong with it, I should say, we're kind of looking at it in a vacuum, is that it is on the backside of this move, and that takes away a lot of probability of it taking off. But I was just gonna trying to show you a pattern within a few candles. But let's just go back here and look. Let's look for a different pattern. So here's like the original uptrend of this thing, right? In the first pullback. So at this point, you don't really know if this is going to be the downside or not, because you have this big uptrend, and you just, as far as this is just a pullback. So with the knowledge you have here, you could use that strategy that I was talking about, breaking the high of the first 5-minute candle. I would not buy for the break of this candle, because this is going to make your stop loss huge. But let's say this candle formed and you put in an order to get ready to place at $1.74 for the break of this candle, and then you can put your stop loss here like at $1.64, so that's 10-cent stop loss. That's reasonable. You notice everything is uptrending, so it's looking good. And then you get filled here. So let's say we got in at $1.75. So that's just like a little 2-cent pop, but you got your stop loss down here. You're still in the trade. Let's see what happens. Still in the trade because your stop's down here. Okay. You almost got stopped out there, but now this thing is showing some strength, and then boom, takes off right there. We're in at $1.75. You get almost a 20-cent gain right there. Or what you can do is bring your stop up to break even and hang on to this thing, and then you get into that huge uptrend, which is awesome. Now, are you going to hold through all of those candles? I don't know. It depends. After you see like 3 or 4 big green candles, you might want to consider taking some profits or selling out, because the more upward that this thing goes, the more likely it is to come crashing down pretty quickly. So intraday, if you had your hard stop, you could just bring it up to the bottom of these candles, and you wouldn't get stopped out until here, 278, and you got in at $1.74 or something. So let's just call that $1 win. That's pretty huge. I guess at like a 60 or 70% gain, something like that. So anyway, so just a little trading talk and pattern recognition, high probability setups. Notice how that one worked out really well. That was coming out of like this kind of first upswing and the first pullback. That one worked, and then now you've got all this kind of selling pressure up here because the stock has moved so high, and where we tried to get in just a minute ago wasn't so strong. And even if we would have held our, let's see, which one did we get on? I guess this candle here. So we'd still be in the trade if we didn't sell out, and this thing still might swing up to the upside because that's where my stop loss was. But anyway, that's trading off the backside, which is much lower probability to work out. So if you really want to give yourself the best chance of being in a winning trade, you'll wait for this thing to show that, okay, it's back in an upswing. You want to see like one uptrend and then a pullback, and then you might look to get back into it. All right, so anyway, I hope that was helpful. Please like, share, and subscribe to encourage more videos like this, and good luck out there.